Damn, y'all feel that?
Yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. A message to all you pseudo spitters. The sound is cool, but the trend I see is the truth is missing. I feel the flow is stupid. You claim that the music's different. I guess it's all opinion, depending on who was listening.
What's the word, y'all? It's KTR Score Podcast. Hashtag KTR. We are KTR. We are back in the building for episode 82, live and direct with your boys, Cinko, Big Harv, and J-Bo himself, live for episode 82 of No Rose Podcast. We are in our, this is our first episode of the new year?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is our first episode of 2024. Let's get it. Let's go. But before we dive into the show, I got to check in with my brothers real quick. And I just already said y'all name already. I'm just going to ask, how y'all feeling today?
I'm cold, but I'm still good, though. What about you, Big Harv?
I'm cool. I'm not cold. I'm cool.
Cold.
I'm all right. You know, my heat on. What's going on?
I'm in the basement, so there's differences.
It don't do it. I feel that. Yeah, we got extra heaters in the basement for that reason. I feel that.
See, yeah.
See, he cool, he cold. This don't get old. But before we get into some show, y'all gotta do this one simple favor for us, and that is to follow us on all social media platforms: KTR Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. No Rose Podcast, Facebook, YouTube. No Rose Podcast on all podcast platforms. Got Google Podcasts, got Spotify, got Anchor, got Apple Podcasts, got Podbean, where everything. And don't forget to get that merch at ProWrestleTees.com/KTR Podcast. Let's go. Let's get into the show. Let's hurry it up because playoff football is on right now, and somebody on this stream wants to record during playoff football. I'm not gonna name no names of name drops. I'm a snitch, but somebody wants to record a show at an inconvenient time. So we're just going to get the show on the road real quick. We're not going to rush too much through it, but I don't want to miss football with a meaning right now because people are just inconsiderate of other people's times. Like they have other stuff to do that was important today. But hey, that's neither here nor there. So first order of business, let's talk about somebody that everybody likes that you can hardly dislike. Let's talk about somebody that's electrifying. Let's talk about somebody who is doing big things, doing big business in multiple avenues in the world. Let's talk about somebody who rhymes with the WWE streaming service of Peacock. Let's talk about Dwayne Johnson. Yes, The Rock. Yeah, I know how I was gonna get the layman terms with The Rock, Peacock. I don't want to say I don't want to say that. This is not that type of show. So yes, let's talk about The Rock real quick. He's been making buzz. He's been popping up on shows in the WWE for like the past few weeks now. Actually, surprised, interesting. It's like it wasn't even announced. So he's been doing these pop-ups. No, he popped up on Jinder Mahal. He popped up before the year ended as well. And also he made some small comments here and there alluding to something amongst people in his family. So with that being said, how do y'all feel about The Rock making his appearance on WWE? And do you think it's to continue in the future? On a persistent basis, not obviously it's gonna come back again sometime somewhere, but I'm talking about in the near future in more appearances and things like that. J-Bo, take it away.
Anyone who's watched this show long enough knows that The Rock is probably my favorite, WWE entertaining wrestler. So, of course, there's a part of me that is excited about the fact that The Rock is here and he's making his appearances, but at the same time, I do factor in his age and the state of the WWE right now, which is you still have one major world champion, Roman Reigns, and they're still trying to build some other wrestlers. Granted, when Randy Orton comes back, that's nice. LA Knight, they're trying to build him up and so on and so forth. But with The Rock coming back and teasing with his family right now, obviously he's trying to go towards WrestleMania and feud with Roman Reigns. However this goes with The Rock, I really hope this is the last in-ring match that he has, because he doesn't need to wrestle anymore. Sure, as to answer Sam's question, could he come in the future and make appearances? Sure, why not? He can come, he can, get a nice pop, the crowd cheers for him, he's The Rock, why not? But as far as matches, I think this would be the great last farewell, adieu, what you going to say, to him wrestling, because he doesn't need to wrestle anymore. I don't think that he needs to beat Roman Reigns. It's unnecessary. I think Roman Reigns should still beat him and just call it a day. But then that leads up to Cody, but that's a different conversation. So I'm happy to see him back. I'm somewhat excited, about WrestleMania just for the pop itself, but he doesn't need to beat Roman Reigns. And Roman just needs to lose it to somebody else they're building, such as, Cody. Maybe Cody can finally finish the story. I don't know. We talked about that numerous times. But as far as The Rock, I'm excited to see him back, but match-wise, I'm not.
Yeah, I feel about the same. I'm right there beside you with it. It's always good to see The Rock, but thinking about him having a match, especially one for the title, especially one that's going to be important on the road to WrestleMania or possibly at WrestleMania, it's a match that needs to happen, but I'm not really looking forward to the match. Of course, Roman Reigns needs to win. It only would make sense that Roman Reigns would win. But during that promo and when he dropped Jinder Mahal, and I mean, he was so freaking winded from doing nothing. Like it just, he's in his 50s now. You know what I'm saying? He's older. He really just keeps in shape for the roles and stuff. He's not really in wrestling shape, and I don't think he can really get in prime wrestling shape again. So, and not to mention all the other spots that he does have to trample on just for that spot. Even if it is to get Roman Reigns over and for him to lose, it's still somebody else's spot that is always there that he takes up. So again, it's great to see him. Always great to see him. I do think that the match is going to happen and it has to happen, but I'm not really excited to see The Rock wrestle anymore.
Yeah. Cinko.
Got nothing there, buddy?
I don't know what I gotta say about it because me personally, I don't think it should happen or need to happen. Like, why does The Rock need to intervene at this point in time now? Like, is there what's there something what's to prove? Like, if Roman Reigns is not going to lose, why does this need to happen?
Storyline wise, in my opinion, it's the only thing that can kind of sort of right the ship that they sank when they broke up the Usos and had Jim turn. And I mean, that's really the only other storyline they can tell within the family aspect that will make sense while they're still a faction. So it feels like this would be the only thing that would happen before they just all went their separate ways. Reigns was still retained, but then he has to go up against, I guess, Cody again or whoever else. And because he ain't got the bloodline, finally, that's when everything falls apart.
So
that's the only reason that I can see it actually happening. And
so you think Roman Reigns is going to retain at WrestleMania if they have that?
Goes against The Rock.
Do you think they're going
to go against The Rock?
When do you think The Rock is going to face Roman Reigns? Because not that many pay-per-views left. I mean,
right.
Live
and that's really the biggest problem about it. So, I mean, it would have to be at Mania. And that would suck because then it ruins any other storyline for somebody else winning the title. But that's the only reason I can see of them wanting to do this match.
What would make sense is if he goes against Roman Reigns before Mania and then he drops it at Mania. It's probably just people just talking, but the one suggestion I don't agree with is because there's 2 nights of Mania, he could try to defend it against The Rock one night and then lose it against whoever else the next night. But then that'll defeat the purpose of having the World Heavyweight, which is supposed to be.
That would be Roman Reigns main event both nights of wrestling. You can't tell him nothing.
Yeah, you can't.
Think about it. You really can't tell that man nothing. 2 nights in a row. I main event Saturday. The only wrestler, the person to do that.
Yeah, I
wouldn't hang your hat on.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's something.
No.
I'm with you. I wouldn't want to see it, but it's something to hang your hat on for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they're going with this angle. I personally don't think the match is going to happen. I think it's just like a teaser. The Rock got too many things going on right now. Like he got worried about the combination of the XFL and the USFL merger right now with the UFL. Like that's coming up. That's springtime football, and like he got focused on that. He ain't got time to be worried about wrestling. Not saying like wrestling and help him get to where he's at, but I'm just saying like his schedule it's not gonna mesh well right now. You got your football league going on during the same time as Mania season. So yeah.
But he could also just do what Roman Reigns is doing. Only shows up maybe once a month to cut a promo. That's all time for him to still go and do what he wants to do and still show up in enough time for the one match. Yeah, I agree. Like, yes, the match should not happen, but I can also see him making it work.
J-Bo just want to see the Rock at WrestleMania. That's I feel like that's the only
I want to
thing.
see the yes, I
Yeah,
do.
that's
wanna see
I ain't gonna fall for that because
Hold
that's
on,
how I felt when I saw John Cena in Vegas at SummerSlam. So I get it. See,
that's all I want to see. Is
I get it. I understand where he coming from. He love. He wants to see me in person one more time. So I get it.
that's right. Just one more
That's
time.
cool. I'll let you have that one. All right, we're gonna move on from this off before we go on a rampage with. Let's we got more WWE topics right now. Let's talk about the NXT side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And look like shoot, we got another brother on the list that's making waves already.
Mm-hmm.
Femi.
Femi, the
Hey,
new North American champion.
the new North American champion, the men's breakout tournament champion. Like he made waves immediately. Like Shawn Michaels pulled the trigger on this guy. A little backstory on him, he come from Alabama. They don't give a piss about nothing but the tide over there. And with that, and with that being said, he was known for track and field. He was one of the first NIL recruits actually that came through the whole NIL system that they had. And it looked like it's paying off well, hats off to him. I did have my couple opinions about the whole NIL thing, with the NXT route. But hey, prove me wrong, shut me up. Look like it's doing well for him right now. So hey, I applaud because he is looking like a good talent right now. He's working the ring well. He's a champion. I'm glad they got off of somebody who is supposed to be on the main card of WWE. So it looks like they're switching over to just having strictly NXT folks being on NXT, which is a good thing. So, but enough about that. How do you feel about the new North American champion, Big Harv? Let's start with you. Both of y'all big. Talk about your brother over there.
I think it's a good look, like you said. They pulled the trigger on somebody that's very talented and that's probably going to do very well. He needs to spend a prolonged amount of time in NXT. They don't need to try to rush him up to the main
to main
roster.
card, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I mean, they're doing good by establishing him early in NXT, but a lot of times that can lead to them trying to superstar somebody real quick, depending on how they receive. So I just think he'll benefit from staying down there a lot longer. There's a lot of guys down there he can still learn a lot of stuff from. But it's good. I think you got it. It's a good look. Absolutely.
J-Bo.
He reminds me of a young Monty Brown.
Dang, he's been back.
just from his energy, his explosiveness.
Marcus Corvon, wasn't that his name?
I'm sorry, Marcus Corvon. Yeah, I didn't care for Corvon, but I definitely care for Monty Brown from the city. Yeah, man. I have nothing much to add than what you guys stated. The fact that he's a young talent. I know you mentioned the NIL program. I mean, every so often you're going to come across one wrestler in the NIL program that's going to stand out. And if that's Femi, then great. I'm all behind it. I was kind of shocked that he went and took the North American Championship as quickly as it did, but I really don't have a problem with that right now because with the few matches he'd had on TV, he's been great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what he can do.
Yeah, he actually wrestles convincingly to like his stature and size, and like his character is convincing as well. It's hard for like those bigger wrestlers to be convincing at their stature and size to wrestle like how they look, and it looks like, but especially by Big Harv's judgment, he's doing a good job because Big Harv got a judgment about bigger wrestlers if they convinced or not. Yeah, so that is a good look, and I hope for the best for him. Like I said, I hope they don't push him up to the main card right now because that'd be too soon. But a wrestler that is also in the NXT that they're looking to push to the main card right now is none other than Carmelo Hayes. We're gonna talk about him. Like that's our boy right there. Love that man. Like Carmelo Hayes has been getting some a nice little like side push on the SmackDown side. He was in the United States title tournament, and he was just recently on SmackDown like a few days ago. Because I say a few days ago because that episode gonna come out, on Tuesday, and you get it. Yeah. So like I said, He was just on SmackDown not too long ago with a match against Austin Theory. No, hope both of them get healed. They had a little incident, they recent match and everything. But besides the point, I know they're doing well right now. But with that being said, I know we did have our questions about them pushing Carmelo Hayes to the main roster on how the business would view him in that spotlight, on like how the crowd would take him in, just like we don't have doubts in him. We just like the outside factor was playing a point in the pivot of his stardom in the main card. But from what we have seen right now so far with his debuts like on Raw and debut on SmackDown, like what do y'all think so far Carmelo Hayes shown his face on the main card?
What they're doing with Carmelo is very, very, very smart. We talked on this show all the time about how there's a difference between an NXT crowd and a live Raw, SmackDown, WWE crowd. You can have a wrestler like Braun Breaker who pretty much has the characteristics, the character that can, kind of go from one to the other real easily. But with a character like what Carmelo Hayes has, that's different based on the crowd that you're in. So instead of doing the typical, all right, you did well, you do your final bow in the ring, and then you go to the main roster. They're putting him in the main roster. They're getting him in matches. They're filling him out with the crowd. He's not official there yet, but he's there. But they're still keeping him as a mainstay in NXT. Clearly, there's going to be a transition, but it's sort of like you're working on both sides at the same time. You want to build that main roster character while not completely going from night and day. So it's very smart, it's very strategic, and you can tell they're taking their time because they got a lot of faith in Carmelo Hayes, which they should because he's done terrific on NXT so far. But they're being careful because they understand the difference between an NXT crowd and the live WWE crowd. So I like how they're very methodical with how they're transitioning him over. Eventually, when he's done with Trick Williams, it's going to be a full stay on SmackDown, but they're not rushing into it. They're by stages going, and that's exactly what they need to do with it. I'm all on board with it.
I agree. I think they're doing it very smart. They got to drip feed his blackness over to the big league. You know what I'm saying? You can't throw all that. Can't throw all that brother as a fastball. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that.
This man said drip feed his blackness.
Can't take. I mean, realistically, that's what it is. It's been a while since you've had a black character that has nuances in their character. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one black stereotype that's being blown up. So the crowd is slowly connecting with him on the main roster, which before, I remember we was talking about how he came out and he didn't get no reaction. We was like, dog, this is disrespectful. Yeah, but they are actually, you know what I'm saying? You remember that. They're actually starting to react to him now. So it's smart to use him for a little bit to keep helping down at NXT and also get people familiar with him on the main roster. They're doing it the right way. But I also do know that it's because of him being a black character, a very nuanced black character. You know what I'm saying? He's different in a good way. Yeah,
it is. And like with that, like saying like he is starting to get that recognition on the main card now. People actually cheer for him and get into his matches. I think what really helped propel him into that was that match with gets him and Kevin Owens. I think that was like the pivotal match right there for him that actually got fans into him. Then, like I said, we just saw this match recently with him and Austin Theory. They were actually cheering his name and actually getting into the match and giving him the reactions that he deserved. And like with that, like I said, hopefully that starts to build over time and just keeps growing and growing for him in his favor, which is something that we all want for him, something that he wants and that he definitely deserves. Because we just don't want to have him being viewed as, a smaller talent and have him just get, ragdoll and be a jobber when he gets to the main card, because that's not who he is. That's not what he should get when he makes it that far in the main card. We want to see him get a title opportunity. We want to see him compete. He's competing with the best and bigger people and stuff like that all the time. So like we showing he could do it on NXT. He definitely could do it on the main roster. So they might be a little bit bigger on the main roster, but hey, it is what it is. Like we haven't seen
like, the underdog, right?
Huh?
I said it's the right way to do the underdog, and I feel like he would fit that role very well. They just got to keep building him the right way.
Boy, that's gonna be one confident underdog, which is gonna work out
so
good.
dope about it though. You picture his promos when he's supposed to be an underdog. against somebody that's bigger than him, a bigger star than him, period, he gonna be talking so much trash.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. It's different. It'd be different from what you've seen from other underdogs going for.
Yeah, because they'd be
the
like,
title.
I may be small, but I can still fight. Like, nah,
I'm
he gonna
scrappy.
right.
I'm small, but I'm scrappy.
It's gonna be different. It's gonna be a lot of confidence and arrogance in that talk while
Yeah.
he looking at
He's
you
gonna be
like,
throwing verbal middle fingers all over the place.
right.
It's gonna be different.
Like I said,
So
definitely look forward to that. Like I said, hope for the best. From like we already know it's coming after WrestleMania season over because that's when they usually do they call up. So just gotta wait and see. Wait for this whole storyline to finish on NXT. Even though I want it to happen now, but no, we'll be patient for that, and we'll be patient for them to get to the main card because it's coming soon. Next, we're gonna talk about these PLEs, premium live events. They are being advertised out the country now.
Great.
Yeah, not like except for WrestleMania right now. But like, I feel like after Royal Rumble, the next couple premium live events are going to be out the country. Now we got one in Australia. There going to be one in like the UK, I think. Yeah, Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think that's the UK.
Yeah, and like it's another one I just can't think of it right now. But how do you feel about what?
Germany? Oh no, I don't know.
I don't know. I can't think of it right now, but I just know that's a trend that's starting right now. How do you feel about strictly just the premium live events being out the country now instead of just being within the United States?
Yes, money.
Yeah, definitely money. It's gonna sell out. We know that. So,
if you pay attention, just all around entertainment domestically is not as lucrative as it used to be. Live stuff. So by going overseas, they are refreshing it because they didn't do a lot of stuff overseas. They're guaranteed to sell those shows out. So they're making so much more money doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I think they're gonna do it a lot more going forward. And because they're more of a more global company now with the merger, it just makes more sense for them to try to make more money and increase profitability in different areas, different places that they don't really go there that often. So now people will be excited every time they come back. They can raise the prices. You know how it works. I ain't got to explain all that.
Yeah, that's real because it makes sense because since it doesn't usually like come over to their countries often, when it does happen, them tickets really sell out. Ain't no resales over there. They really gone. Yeah, because I didn't realize how big. Well, I mean, obviously knew WWE was international, but like personally, I didn't realize how big wrestling was outside the country until we started this podcast. So, seeing all these other people in wrestling community just all over the world, they're watching these shows and whatever time zone that they're in, whether it's late at night, early in the morning, they're watching WWE live, like while we're watching live at our regular time. So it's like it's crazy.
Yeah. And honestly, they should have been doing this. Because the first word in WWE is world. Should have been doing this all the time. And if you're going to be known as, let's be honest here, WWE is globally known as either the most popular or the top wrestling organization in the world. So for them to have, heck, even if it's not PLE, if it's Raw, SmackDown, whatever, but they're having it in other countries regularly, that would actually make sense. So yeah, it's good that they're doing it, both financially and for the fact that they are known as World Wrestling Entertainment.
That's true. That's real. I say, get that money. I ain't mad at it. Like that's the way to go. And also shout out to the fans out there too, because they getting their money's worth for it. To actually, and then that's what they get the bigger pops out there too, because like they're not bored of it. Like it's something new for them. So if they boo something,
single match.
If they boo something, you know it's bad. If they boo something, you know it's bad out there. Cool. Last but not least, we're gonna talk about this topic real quick because I know it was brought in the chat, but we haven't recorded in like a couple of weeks, so we're gonna bring it to the table now. Dolph Ziggler.
Oh yes.
Or what? Nick Nemeth, whatever how you pronounce it. Nemeth.
Yeah, Nick Nemeth.
Yes, Nick Nemeth, his new alias, his original alias now. He has made his appearance and debut at New Japan Pro Wrestling. And he is set to have his debut match coming up real soon. So with this being said, after his recent release from WWE, and now he's able to compete, how do y'all feel about him making waves into a new wrestling industry? We're gonna start with J-Bo because this is more of his avenue right here. Go ahead, break it down for us. Boom.
He should have been in New Japan Pro Wrestling 5+ years ago.
Wow. All right then.
Period. Yeah, that should have been. Now, first off, shout out to Dolph Ziggler, to Nick Nemeth, to his brother Ryan Nemeth, because he showed up over there too.
Yeah.
This is a great move for them because Dolph Ziggler went from being a collegiate wrestler and was putting on 5-star matches in the ring, at the peak of, no question. And around arguably the last 7-8 years, made it a little bit too far, but at least the last 5 years, it's like he's just been going through the motion, collecting that check, but going through the motion. Now that he's in New Japan Pro Wrestling, not only can he redisplay the wrestling capability I know he still has. I know he's in his 40s now, I believe, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so I know he's up there in age, but I know he can still bring on a great wrestling match. So combine that with the strong style in New Japan, and I know they're going to give him a good paycheck. You have an automatic top star automatically. So I think this is a tremendous move. And Ryan Nemeth, this is good for him too, because with the star power that you have in your brother, people's going to take a look at you as well. If you're going to come out in the ring, you're going to have tag team matches with him as well. Or if you're just going to be at ringside and you may have matches eventually with Nick Nemeth with you as well, that's going to help you as well. So this is also good for his younger brother as well. So I think all around, this is a great move for wrestling and obviously for New Japan Pro Wrestling. So congrats to both of them, really.
I agree. It's a very good move. Dolph or Nick always deserved a little bit better than what he got in WWE. Felt like they really believed in him for a good 5-year stretch, and then right after that, they just gave up on dude. I have no idea what happened. His work didn't suffer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was always good every time they actually gave him a chance. I don't know what happened, but I was surprised when he got released. He seemed like a lifer. I'm glad that he's doing something else with his talents. I think because he is up there in age and because he's still so good at what he does, a move like New Japan would only benefit him because they have breaks in between. And he has a lot of people over there that you're going to tear the house down with that he's never got a chance to wrestle. And, of course, his brother, like you said, the gravity of Nick is going to help Ryan. So it's a good move for their family all around. Very good.
Yeah, with that, like saying that should be a good move for him. Like, because I think actually he wanted his release from WWE a while ago, but hey, he was just staying there collecting that free money and staying healthy and keeping in shape. So worked out for him. So he can't beat free money. Like I said, hope the best for him in that new avenue working in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But with that, that is all the time we have today. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for supporting. Because, like I say every time, it will be no KTR without y'all. But until then, do this one super favorite for us, and that is to follow us on all social media platforms: KTR_podcast, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. No Rose Podcast, Facebook, YouTube. No Rose Podcast, all podcast platforms: Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, Podbean, everything. And don't forget to get that merch at ProgressTees.com/KTR podcast. Let's get in, let's go, let's get out of this show. This is episode 82, No Rose Podcast, #KTR, and we are out.
This has been a very positive episode. A lot of positive things happening in the wrestling world.
J-Bo, hurry up. Football is on right now, man. All right.
This is a positive way to start off the new year's for the first time of 2024. Tell them, what should they do, Big Harv?
Continue to bless us with them numbers that you are pumping. I appreciate it.
It doesn't take.
Now let's get to some football.
Thank you. Don't take this long to log off. All right. Thank you.
Hey.
What? Get the thumb down off the screen. Hey.
That don't compute in my mind. I must be out of mind. Black fist high, rally up before we out of time.